Alright y'all, what we're going to show you today is how to get 5-volt power out of your USB. The kid that asked me to explain this to him ran across one of the typical Chinese cables where the color codes don't match. And I had to go through a couple of really old mice to find a cable where the color codes also don't match. So there's several ways to achieve this, to where you can debug and figure out which ones are your 5-volt power lines. I'm going to show you a couple of them, and I'm not encouraging doing this to a weed pen unless you're, have the common sense to eliminate the battery, throw the battery part in the trash, and just keep the tip end and maybe a rheostat to control your voltage. If you don't know what I just said, please God, don't try this with a weed pen. If you are a Democratic Party member, yeah, go watch another video because this is going to be way too advanced for you. Alright, here we go. I've already got 5-volt power coming out, and I've determined my hot and my ground. Most new meters, if you get your power backwards, it's going to put a minus sign in front. This particular one, doesn't do that. And I picked it on purpose. I want to determine which are your 5-volt lines, or what your polarity is. Take a polarity sensitive device. This one is. If I plug it in backwards, it's not going to come on. So, got to have it to where y'all can see that it's spinning in there. If I hook it up like that, it spins. If I hook it up like that, it will never spin in a million fucking years because it's DC fan and it is polarity sensitive. I can hook it up, straighten these wires out, and make sure you can see that I'm not cheating here. I know that some fucking libtard didn't listen a second ago and they're going to watch it anyway. See, those blades are not spinning in there. Alright. Now they're spinning. So that tells me my polarity. Hot is going to be my green and white is going to be my ground, which is completely backwards. I mean, normally green is the color of the earth and whites are hotheads. That's AC though. And I'm kidding because whites are neutral in AC, so don't nobody take that serious. I forgot that I have people watching who think the internet, I don't know, they remind me of the people back in the CB radio days that they think everything has to be serious all the time. It's actually, the AC color codes are blacks are hotheads, whites are neutral, and green is the color of the earth. This is DC we're playing with. Now, for the poor kid that doesn't have the luxury of ripping out a USB port from an old notebook or from an old USB hub, let's show you the quickie trick there. Put your meter on beepy, just like you were going to check the diode. Okay. Go ahead and wrap one. You know what? My hands are not working good enough to be doing this morning. I need to put that one down. Just go in here like this. my wire in there. Now I grab my other end of the meter and I go in here. And I have power on the first outside wire. You see, let me get this plug up there to where you can see it. Inside here there's 5 spots for wires. You only use 4 of them most of the time. And that's not focusing too good. Maybe the other, yeah, here, the female side focuses a little bit better. And we know that the outside 2 are your power. We've already determined polarity, and that was actually premature, but I was already set up to where that was convenient. So, if you have an old notebook or an old USB hub, or a USB hub where the bottom can come off and you've got decent connectors on the bottom, because a lot of these don't. I keep a good one around. I'll show you a bad one. I've got one right over here. I keep a good one around for testing shit. But there's a lot of them that are horrible for testing because they're too teeny to get your meter on quickly. You know, this one is prime for testing. And it's got all 5 wires hooked up, which is why I did not use it. But that's a nice one for testing with. I've got one with really shitty bottoms. That one is definitely not it. That's actually a really nice bottom. There's one with a crappy bottom. It's got shit all over it. But you know, some of them have pins so tiny they're just not worth it. I mean, thought I had a. See, that one's got good pins. You can get your meter on them. But I thought I had one. I was wrong. I thought I had one with crappy, them little dinky pins on there. I was going to show you what not to use, but we'll just go ahead and start with what to use, I guess. Okay, so instead of wasting hours sticking my meter in there, I know that I need the outside too. So I stick one edge of I just stick a wire up here one at a time. Only I didn't do it up there. Yeah, I cheat on a lot of shit when I do this shit. Okay, so I got one wire hooked up, and I know that as long as that comes to one of the outside 2 connectors, the hell, did I not get that wire touching? Need to strip it a little bit. Right here. Go. Sorry about that. Played with this so much that I bet okay, so now we can get a good wrap on it. We stripped off plenty. Am I worried? No, this is an old mouse cord that was laying around. Okay, now we know we're hooked up. Oh, I'm on a data line. See that right there? That's not one of the outside two. That's a data line. Let's verify that. Somebody's out there, but here yes, biker, you're testing it in circuit. No, I'm testing it from here to here. I'm testing continuity in the wire. That's all I'm doing. Okay, so we got a data line right there. That's one of the inside two. Trash that sucker down. Saw what I did there, switching colors on you, right? I'm going to go ahead and strip that one some more too. And this is a lot quicker than sticking your meter in that little plug and hoping that you get it right. That one's on the outside. Isn't that one of the ones that I had straight up to begin with? Yeah, it is. Okay, now, shouldn't have to strip that one any extra. Go to the white, which we know is the other outside. See? And it won't beep on any other. There's no continuity on any other. So testing from here to here in circuit isn't going to hurt anything. I know that some kids have been taught that testing in circuit is bad at all costs, but that's not always true. But I do understand why they're teaching that. Most kids these days have no common sense. Common Core took away common sense. Instead of being taught to think, they've been taught to take tests. Okay, so stick that one on there. And why am I sticking the extra wire on there? We've already determined what we need, right? Right. But I'm verifying. That's the other data wire. The two insides are data. The two outsides are your power. Okay, so got blue and brown going down, and you got white and green. Let's kill that. Let's stick this back into our USB hub. And by the way, when you test these off of directly plugging them into USB and checking voltage, the reason I don't recommend that is you can go on some units from, well, actually on the majority of units, especially like cheap-ass Dell or Alienware shit. You can go from a true hot down to a data ground and ruin your USB port in your computer, but you'll still be getting power for a few hours. So that's why I recommend getting a true reading. And you can always pop the bottom off of, ooh, wow, that thing's nasty. That thing was on the floor for a long time. You can always pop the bottom off an old USB hub, or you can take one apart, take a laptop apart and use a USB port like what I just used there. And just to show you that I've known all along, that sucker on voltage, boom, boom, almost 5 volts, boom, now we're correct. We get our minus sign. See what I did there? Alright. We know that white, for some reason, is ground. Why in the hell is white ground? Why would the Chinese do that to us? And yes, I know that that mouse was made in China. It's on the floor and it'll eventually go into the trash in a year or two. I just took it apart again a while ago. What the hell is going on there? Oh, duh. Helps if I have the wire on instead of the coating. Correct way. We've got 5 volts. Correct way, I got 5 volts. So, just to verify again, because I am kind of anal retentive, obsessive, compulsive, or a fucking nerd if you prefer to call me that. My fan works in this direction. And before you choose a fan, make sure you test it on a known power source so that you know the polarity, or that you at least know I can wiggle these fuckers all day long, it ain't going nowhere, because this fan is polarity sensitive. And there are other uses, like I could use this to cool off an amplifier for my stereo, or I could make a lamp. Come on, wake up over there. There you go, thank you. I could make a lamp. And an interesting thing is not all LEDs are polarity sensitive. This one is, I believe. That one is. And again, we have verified, for some god-awful reason, the ground is on the white here. Boom. Try it again. It's backwards. Wiggle that sucker all day long, it's not coming back on. There are some LEDs that are not polarity sensitive. You need to avoid those if you're going to do this kind of testing. So, now that we've shown you that, I might actually hook this up to a fan. No, if I hook it up to a fan, it's going to be this teeny one here. Why? Because that would fit between my amps. The actual goal of this whole thing was to show you how to get 5 volt power to where you could rip out the very tip of your weed pen holder, throw the battery in the trash, put a rheostat in line, and have yourself a 5 volt weed pen thingy. However, I don't recommend running a vape pen directly off your computer because most USB ports can't take that kind of draw for very long or very many times. I would recommend running it off of a powered USB hub. But I understand where the kid works and I understand what he's up to, so you know, I don't mind. Yeah, okay, wink, nod. This is what you shouldn't be doing at work. Maybe throw in a F word or something behind that. Wow, hey, my beard's still strong. So, all that being said, we're gonna holler at y'all later.